Well, first let me recognize all my council colleagues who are here, and if I miss anybody because there's a big crowd, just holler. Councilmember Margaret Chin, Councilmember Liz Crowley, Councilmember Steve Levin, Councilmember Sarah Gonzalez, Councilmember Dr. Eugene, Councilmember Adonis Rodriguez, Councilmember Fernando Herrera, Councilmember Jimmy Van Bramer, Councilmember Mark Weffrin, Councilmember Jessica Lappin, Councilmember Al Van, Councilmember Kim Panero, Councilmember Leroy Comrie, Councilmember Donovan Richards.
Right behind her.
Sorry, I didn't see you there. And I don't know if it's Jessica, but I'll say Jessica again. And of course, the prime sponsor of the paid sick leave bill, Councilmember Gail. Let me start by first thanking Councilmember Gail Brewer, thanking the entire paid sick leave coalition, thanking the 5 borough chambers of commerce who have worked with us, and thanking in particular Hector Figueroa from 32BJ. As Hector knows, we're only as good as our staff, Allison Hirsch. Of a better balance, some folks who, along with Margaret Nelson, Adamola Oyesefa, Mike Laskaway, Laura Popa, Ray Majewski, and Preston Niblack from my staff also deserve a round of applause, as well as Gail Brewer. I am very pleased we've been able to reach an agreement to pass a paid sick leave bill later next month. This bill will provide paid sick time and unpaid sick time to over 1 million workers in New York and provide paid sick time to nearly 1 million workers. I've always said that I supported the goal of paid sick leave. So the question for me was never a question of if, only a question of when and how, and I'm so grateful to everyone who has worked to get us to this right time in this correct way. People who are sick or who need to take care of a sick or ailing loved one should be able to take a day off without being afraid of losing their job and therefore being afraid that they won't be able to pay their bills. It is simply the right thing to do, what we are announcing today. Like everyone, I've been moved by the stories we've heard of people who have not had this important benefit. Throughout the process, I, along with many of my colleagues who are here today, and Gail herself, have also pressed on the importance of recognizing the impact that this proposal would have on New York City's economy, its small businesses, and its mom and pop proprietors. And I want to particularly thank Gail, who, although has been a fierce proponent for this bill, she has always been mindful of that in a very inclusive way. It's been my goal to make sure that when we provide this important benefit to millions of people who need access to paid sick leave, we did it without creating an administrative burden on those businesses that currently offer the benefit when they can least afford it. And I've always said that it was vital, that any paid sick bill protect small businesses and ensure that we move forward only in the right economic time. And I'm proud to say that this legislation strikes the balance of those interests in an important and aggressive way. And frankly, that's what effective policy making is all about, striking that balance. The agreement we've hammered out meets all of these goals. It provides a critically important benefit to New Yorkers, and it does it without putting jobs at risk. It protects people, it protects small businesses, and I'm incredibly proud of this final piece of legislation. Let me give you some specifics of what's in the legislation. This law guarantees that all New Yorkers can take time off to care for themselves and their families when they're sick without fear of threat of losing their job. And I want to thank in particular Make the Road New York, for whom I know that. platform in all of this for Make the Road. Businesses with 20 or more employees will have to offer paid sick leave beginning a year from now, April 2014. And businesses with 15 or more employees will have to offer paid sick leave beginning 18 months later in October 2015. In addition, the bill will require that all businesses of any size, as I said before, provide unpaid sick leave to their employees beginning also on April 1st, 2014. By setting the start date 1 year in the future, we're giving the economy additional time to demonstrate a consistent and stable recovery, and at the same time, it appropriately allows businesses the time they need to get ready to offer paid and unpaid sick leave. Importantly, this bill includes a trigger, something that I've talked about for a while, that ensures the law only goes into effect if the economy continues to recover. So if a major downturn occurs, we would put off implementation of the legislation. To determine this, we're using the Federal Reserve Banks of New York's Coincident Index, which is a measure of New York City's economic growth and a comprehensive total measure that gives us a real sense. Under this provision, as I said, if the economy unexpectedly worsens, the bill will be delayed from taking effect until the conditions improve. We've also exempted the manufacturing sector from the paid leave provisions due to the particular challenges of that sector. I just want to thank everyone who is with us today. This has been an ongoing process of discussion and dialogue, one where we really wanted to balance the different interests that were out there to get workers who needed and deserved paid sick leave that right, get people protection so they could take days off and not lose their jobs, but we wanted to do it in a way that was mindful of the economy, mindful of the impact on small businesses, both in size but also in administrative impact. And I know everyone in this coalition is mindful of not wanting to put more unnecessary fines on mom and pop stores. And that is why it's so important that the enforcement and administrative provisions of this bill, with Gail's input, were amended to be ones that are fair and not overly burdensome on small businesses. And I just want to say, one of the great things about this process is both all sides have had a moment to have a voice. And if you'd asked me a year or so ago what the top issues of small businesses were going to be, they weren't the ones that ended up being the top issues. But the businesses spoke for themselves about enforcement, about paperwork, about fine-related issues, and all of those were able to be addressed in a way that I think today we've not only made ourselves poised to pass this legislation, but we've also put ourselves a step forward by bringing the Chambers of Commerce and the advocates of paid sick leave together in a way that they have never been before in our city. So I want to thank everyone for that. Let me